I'm at Grace Church Road. I went to Waynesboro to bring this man down to this address, and now he's trying to force his way into a house. I'm afraid to move my vehicle. They're fighting in there.
It's inside the house now?
Yeah.
You have your doors locked?
It's open. I'm in a van.
You need to make yourself safe, okay? Even if you've got to drive away from there to get away from him and close that and lock that door. Do that for me now, please.
Okay, wait a minute.
Okay, so I'm actually coming live just a little bit early for anyone, just so I can play the live Brian Walsh that's been charged with the murder of his wife. So I'm just going to show that. One sec here. Give me 1 second.
Here on the dead body at 1:13 p.m. What is the rate of decomposition of the
So
body?
this is
found in a plastic bag
Brian Walsh,
to
of
on
course,
the surface in the woods.
in court.
At 1:20
That's
p.m.
going live
in
right
baking
now.
soda,
Just so you
mass,
can see that he's being
or
charged
make
for the
a
murder of
body
his
smell
wife,
good.
Anna Walsh.
On January 4th, the following day, the defendant went to Home Goods and TJ Maxx. He purchased towels as well as bath mats and men's clothing. At 4:15 that day on the 4th, he went to Lowe's where he purchased squeegees and a trash can. On January 4th, when Passett police went to the house on the well-being check, officers observed his Volvo with seats down and a plastic liner in the back of the car. The next day, a view of the Volvo showed his seats folded down, floor mats with some dirt, and the carpet appeared to show fresh vacuum streaks. When asked about the liner, the defendant said he threw in the trash. Chemists later analyzed the car and there was present blood in the car. On January 5th, a review of the data from defendant's phone showed his phone traveled at 8 a.m. first to his daycare and then to Swampscott, where his mother resides. The phone traveled to the complex where his mother lives at 9:30 a.m., went for about 5 minutes around the building to the southeast corner. In the southeast corner of that complex is where there was a dumpster. The dumpster was later secured and searched. On January 8th, police and crime scene services searched the house in Passett. They found blood in the basement, a knife with the presence of blood. The knife was damaged. A second knife was also found in that basement. In addition, there was heavy-duty large top plastic liners purchased from that Home Depot trip. As part of the investigation, police checked for activity on honest credit cards, banks, flights, trains. There was no activity since she was last seen on January 1st. Police also tried to track down what happened to the bags that the defendant was seen throwing in the dumpster earlier. This was over in Abington. These bags and what was in them were already picked up and taken to a location for shredding and to being incinerated. By the time police located that, they were already destroyed. However, investigators did secure and search the dumpsters from defendant's mother's complex in Swampscott. It was searched at a transfer station in Peabody. Investigators recovered 10 trash bags. Inside the trash bags, many of these items contained stains consistent with blood, infected blood. Among the items secured were towels, rags, slippers, tape, Tyvek soup, gloves, cleaning agents, carpets, rugs, hunter boots, Prada purse, a COVID-19 vaccine card in the name of Brian Walsh, a hacksaw, a hatchet, and some cutting shears. The purse and boots were described as what Anna was last seen in. A portion of the rug was heavily stained with red-brown stains. The substance was consistent with also having baking soda on it. There was a portion of a necklace consistent with one that Anna had been seen wearing in photos. The state crime lab performed testing on certain selected items that were recovered from those trash bags. There was human blood found on them, and then they were sent for DNA testing. The findings are as follows. On the slippers in the interior, Anna and Brian Walsh were contributors to the DNA on those slippers which had blood on them. On the exterior, Anna and Brian Walsh contributed to the DNA found on those slippers. The Tyvek suit. On the interior cuffs, Anna and Brian Walsh contributed to the DNA that was left on them. On the exterior left pant leg, Anna Walsh was contributed to the DNA. On the interior right sleeve, Anna Walsh was a contributor to the DNA that was found on the Tyvek suit. There was tissues which found that Anna Walsh contributed to the DNA. There was one other earlier Google search, which would be of note. On December 27th, defendant Googled, what's the best state to divorce from there? Rather than divorce, it was believed that Brian Walsh dismembered Anna Walsh and discarded her body. The bags were later discarded in Swampscott and contained Anna's property and the items used to clean up, as well as the DNA that was left behind. The Commonwealth is asking that the defendant be held without bail for the murder of his wife.
Thank you, Mr. You should be heard at all.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Defendant will be held without bail pending indictment. Do we have a date for probable cause, or Ms. Phelan, have you reserved time for the grand jury?
Not at this time, but I will. Your Honor, we have a date of February 7th already for the misleading. Oh, February 9th, I apologize. If we want to put on for status on that day?
And that's by Zoom, Your Honor, correct?
By Zoom.
Yes,
Do you
thank
want
you.
a status date or probable cause date?
Status date is fine.
Okay. February 9th for status, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, sir, you're held without bail until February 9th, 2023, for a status date.
Well, so thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Quietly, please. Why shouldn't America?
There we go. Okay. So that, of course, was Brian Walsh. If people don't know, Brian Walsh, he already had ankle bracelets on because of the fake Andy Warhol paintings. I mean, the guy is just a POS regardless. But now he's being obviously charged. So I actually didn't know that was live. And then all of a sudden I seen it on when I was just Googling, and I was like, okay, so my live wasn't scheduled for like about 28 minutes from now or whatever for Brian Kohberger, but might as well show that because that was been a case that we've been covering recently as well. So again, Anna Walsh was his wife. She went missing basically on January 1st of this year, 2023, on New Year's Day. Of course, he didn't report his wife missing. Somebody from her work did, and actually Banfield. And just because I have a little bit more time before I talk about Brian Kohberger, I might just play it's about 6 minutes long, and it's Ashley Banfield, and she's traveling actually in her car and kind of goes over exactly the timeline of that. So let me just pull that up. Just give me 1 second here. I think it's right here. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to play that for about, like I said, it's about 6 minutes long. Right here.
Last time anyone saw Anna Walsh alive was New Year's Eve, and it is thought by New Year's Day she was probably dead. And her husband, Brian, was a busy, busy man on New Year's Day and the day after, scurrying all about Eastern Massachusetts. Want to know where he went? I did. I traced his steps, and here they are. So this is 516 Chief Justice Cushing highway, and there's media here, and the house is actually located up into the woods where Anna and Brian lived. And it's a crime scene, so we can't drive up there. But I can tell you this: on the morning of January the 1st, Brian tells the police that 4 a.m. his wife gets up and goes off on a business trip, but then he also tells police sometime between 6 and 7 she went off on a business trip. So their spidey senses are tingling. He then says he wakes up at 7 and makes the kids breakfast, and then has the babysitter come over because he needs to zip out and do a couple of errands, get a couple of groceries. Just a few minutes down the road from Brian and Anna Walsh's house is the Shaw's supermarket. And this is where Brian told the police that he left the babysitter with the kids to come and get a couple of groceries, milk and orange juice. And so presumably he went in there, he picked up his little groceries, and then made his way back down the road a couple of minutes to drop the groceries off. When Brian comes back from the Shaw's supermarket, he presumably, according to what he told police, drops off the milk and the orange juice and tells the sitter he's on his way to his mom's condo, which is about an hour and 15 minutes away. So here's the weird part. As we head towards there, he says he couldn't find his phone, and therefore there's no way of tracking him regarding his GPS because he didn't take his phone, said he lost it. Also says he got lost on the way to his mom's house. Okay, so the trip took him a half an hour longer, which is odd. And he says when he got to his mom's house, he actually stopped for 15 minutes and then left and went out to run some errands for her at Whole Foods and CVS. Problem, no receipts at Whole Foods, no receipts at CVS, no video surveillance of Brian Walsh in either of those stores. Okay, so it's his story. He's sticking to it. He then says he brings those groceries back to his mom's condo, drops them off, and makes his way back to Cohasset. A couple of other problems here. Again, he doesn't have his phone, so we can't track the GPS there. But his phone pinged anyway in two communities called Abington and Brockton. In case you're wondering, Abington and Brockton are not on the way to mom's house. Here's the other really interesting thing about Abington and Brockton. They're side by side, and overlapping right in the middle is a state park. And wouldn't you know it, in the middle of that state park is a water body called Cleveland Pond. So it is curious, was Brian Walsh scouting out locations on January 1st as to where he might be able to get rid of the body of his wife? So back at the home here at 516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway, and January 2nd, Brian wakes up and suddenly finds his cell phone. The cell phone he couldn't find the whole day before. Says that probably the kids were playing with it and hid it under a pillow. So now he's got his cell phone back on January 2nd and has the babysitter come back over and look after the two little kids so that he can take the 6-year-old to a juice bar for a chocolate shake. It's about a 20-minute drive from Brian's home to this Press Juice Bar in Norwell, Massachusetts. And this is presumably where he was coming to bring his son for the milkshake.
Hi, how are you? Do you guys have chocolate milkshake?
We don't. We can kind of make one. Like, we have chocolate protein powder. Yeah. There's like a chocolate.
Like a chocolate smoothie?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. It's possible to make a chocolate smoothie, but driving 20 minutes for it, it's interesting. Brian did say to the police that this was the only place he went that day. Problem is, police said they have a whole lot of evidence that said that's not true, that he had another stop he was about to make right after this one. It is a 9-minute drive from the juice bar to this Home Depot in Rockland, Massachusetts. And this was not on his approved list of places he could go. And he certainly didn't tell them that he came to this Home Depot, but They actually made a couple of pretty significant purchases. Here's what's on the list: Tyvek tarps, buckets, drop cloths, cleaning supplies, and various kinds of tape. They also say that he was on surveillance wearing a blue set of surgical gloves and a black surgical mask. And when he left this Home Depot, he headed back home. Again, it is presumed that his 6-year-old boy was either in the car or in the Home Depot with him. But he left here and headed back home to Cohasset to relieve the babysitter. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation.
Okay, yeah. Jane from the country. Yes, he stole $1 million from his dad, and that left the 10-year. Of course, where his dad and him weren't talking to him. A friend of Brian Walsh's dad was speaking about that, about how he was the type of person that always wanted to be in Armani's. And good morning, Jane. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just he's just a con man. I really cannot stand, like, and that's why on here, when I'm sometimes calling the odd person out for like Joseph Morris, for faking audio and literally deceiving people, that's a whole different ball of wax than just being a channel and reporting stuff. Even if you are the biggest D, channel around or whatever, who cares? That's on them. But the minute you start, literally falsifying information purposely, that's a whole different story now. So to me, like Brian Walsh here, again, he's just a con man. I wouldn't doubt it. At the end of the day, it's going to be an argument that happened. She obviously said something or did something, probably, threatened to leave him, crumble his world even more. Who knows? He was obviously underneath arrest because he had his ankle bracelets on for the Andy Warhol fake paintings he was selling. And I'm sure if I look him up, he probably has a plethora of other different things because he's just a con man. And I'm sure I wouldn't doubt it if she was sick of it. But, alcohol, who knows what they were drinking, if they were drinking exactly, but alcohol, maybe she said something to the friend that was there that, that totally pissed him off. And that caused an argument afterwards, which led into the fact that, too far. Something like, it had to have obviously been something substantial for him to take it to that level, going from just an argument, yeah, and then that would involve the children, maybe that was thrown in his face, tired of it. And he was just like, and morning, Grizz, how are you? And Austin, you're doing well. I've been trying clay sculpting, besides that probably costing a lot of setup money. That seems cool. If you make something, make sure you send me the picture so I can show it on here. Or you can come on the Just Gas Sunny channel and, talk about it one day if you would like to. I can't say, I can only remember doing clay sculpting once, and that was in school in grade 8 or something, where you're making some sort of pottery thing. And yeah, but I always think of the movie Ghost when I think of, clay sculpting for some reason, as she's making that pot. If anyone remembers, of course, the movie Ghost. But anyways, so as for Brian Walsh, so we got Brian Walsh, Brian Kohberger, any other Brians out there that want to confess to anything at all? Why does sometimes it feel in life that certain names have a certain trend, like don't be a Karen. Every Karen I've personally known has been kind of like a snitty Karen. My ex-husband's aunt Karen, oh my God, so self-righteous and so self-preachy, an absolute, And when I think of a Karen that was at the hotel, she worked at head office, and she was this German thing, and she was quite the bee herself and stuff like that. Hi, Michelle. Oh, is it your first time here, Michelle? Well, there you go. Put you up on screen there with us. Yeah, it's nice to have you. So, Michelle, and it's a criming shame here. It's usually me and Adam, and then whatever guests we have on. Lewis a lot of times joins us. We have mostly been covering Delphi since Delphi has happened, but um, Delphi is pretty much, I don't want to say, well, it's just quiet. It's simply quiet. But the thing is that we want to be covering a lot more stories. And so Idaho4 is definitely one that we follow right now. We'll always cover Delphi, but we're not the type of channel that likes to just do a live just to hear ourselves talk. Delphi at the moment is like I said, there's nothing really that I want to talk about with Delphi too much besides maybe a live here and there about it, just because it's just like soaking in the same regurgitated stuff over and over, and again and again and again. And so, uh, because even though our base has been Delphi, but we do want to Delphi, Idaho, and other cases like Anna Walsh here. And again, I want to bring a case that just happened. And of course, they have found her remains, which is Athena. And so Athena's remains were found, that poor little child. Um, just very sad, just like the children. Like you have a 6-year-old shooter that last week, that shot his teacher. Thank goodness she lived. Just very, very sad cases all around. And as for I can't remember what I was going to say there. I lost my trail of thought there. It's okay. It's only 6:46 in the morning here, guys. I'm Pacific Coast time. I'm from Vancouver, Canada, and yet I cover only the cases that are in the United States. Oddly enough, Sunny, is trial going to be in Delphi, but jury outside Delphi? Correct. It's it's going to be in Carroll County, absolutely, Jane. But they'll be deciding this week where they're going to pull the jury from. So I mean, it could be Fort Wayne or whatever up there. It They have to decide on that this week. So that's what makes the most sense. Judge Gall said that she wasn't going to be, you know, um, like having it outside. So it's basically, a lot of people thought that they were going to move it. Me and Adam never felt like they were going to. And it just made sense because of the money and because she had said that. And it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for the families. It didn't make sense for them to have to travel like that. So it does make the most sense to bring them in and, bring the jury in instead. So we'll find out at some point. Well, like probably the docs pop will go off at some point this week to say that there's been, some sort of change to the whatever, um, the listing on docs. So on docs pop, you can get notifications there, and then it will give you updates as when there's some movement on his case. So I'm sure this week we'll hear something. Absolutely. Okay. Now let's see. What time is it? 6:48. Okay. So it's almost. I set the live for 9. No, sorry. 7 my time, which is 10 Eastern Standard Time. But then, so because Brian Walsh his hearing was going on, hi True Crime, because the hearing was going on, I thought, oh, you know what, I'll just go live. Hi Phil, how are you? Is that a tongue? Um, yeah, so I thought I would just go live, just so that people that were interested in that case and hearing about it. Again, very, very sad story, because let me just quickly go just let's see here. Is that this morning? Okay. let's just stop this for a second. Present. Okay, so no, I don't want your notifications. So that's obviously Anna Walsh right there. And, that's the mother of three. They had three children, three boys, and those boys are in protective custody at this moment. Now, if that anyone doesn't really know about this, right? The her mother, her mother lives in Serbia. So, and then I believe her father has passed. I'm trying to remember now. If her father's passed, I think so. His father has passed for sure, and his mother is now under scrutiny because, of course, her son, where he left, the garbage that he got out of his mother's home area. Hey, support with Steffa, how are you? And so there's not really too much for family. So hopefully something happens soon. I don't exactly know um, about him, about Brian, if he had any brothers and sisters. To be honest with you, I haven't looked into that because it was one of those things. You just know that he obviously did something to his wife, and so it was just about more paying attention to that. Yeah, if you guys could hit that thumbs up, that would be great. Really helpful. So that's just to kind of explain this. So Anna Walsh and Brian Walsh had three children. There's three children are now in protective custody. Support with Steph said she's going to adopt all three of them and keep them together. His smugness is extremely annoying. What I always find is this, and call me judgmental because everyone is. When I look at him, he is the epitome of what the hell is she doing with you? Like, you look like a smug little rat. And there's, I don't know. When you just smell slime, it's just like, for me, it's just, I just have to look at somebody, and I don't honestly care what other people think about that. But for me, I've always had a very good intuition about people all my life. Doesn't mean I'm perfect about my, some the odd time I'm wrong. I am wrong sometimes. Yeah. But my intuition is pretty on par most times, that when I literally meet someone, I know just by looking at you. But I look to the eyes especially. But with him, it's just all over his face. He just looks like a narcissistic, smug little rat. She feels like she was like a mail-in bride, to be honest with you. I'm like, what is she doing with you? I don't know what it was, how they met exactly. Either way, it's kind of like Beauty Meets Beast, that type of thing. Guess I should come on screen here. So that's the story of a little bit of Brian Walsh. So we'll keep up to date on that one as well. And does anyone have any questions or anything about that before I move on? And when I say I move on, I'm going to end the live now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not yet. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a live. My husband gets up and he goes to work for 5 a.m. And I was thinking about the Brian Kohberger case yesterday, like Idaho4, sadly. And then something dawned on me as I was having a conversation. We were just kind of talking about it. And then I was thinking something that actually quite makes sense a lot. But I'll see what you guys think, and you guys can maybe tell me what you guys think. Just give me, you guys. Did he enter a plea today? Yeah, well, not guilty, of course. Yeah, he's of course claiming his innocence. It's these people like Brian Walsh, these people like Brian Kohbergers of the world. Nowadays with the technology, I mean, how dumb do you have to be to literally see? This is the thing. Okay. How dumb do you have to be to literally have ankle bracelets on and then literally think that you're going to get away with thinking that you're innocent? Okay. Dude, are you stupid? Yes, you are. I don't think that this was planned with Anna Walsh. Hi, Trucy. How are you? I don't think that this was planned. And yeah, Trucy, by the way, I mean, I was trying to find your Shane Waters, your son. I was trying to find him on Facebook or something. And I didn't. I'm not sure who it was. Anyways, um, I don't know. If you want to put me the email in my MS Messenger, then that would be great. But I did go look just to let you know. So back to Brian for a second, Brian Walsh. So it's kind of like, I don't think it was planned. I think it was that something happened on New Year's, and there was like one person I believe there, and that was the friend that said, "Hey, everything was fine. Thank you, Trucy. That everything was fine." And like the night was going whatever. He left at 1:30. The friend did. Obviously there's this time frame probably between 4 and 5 a.m. But it's one of those things. I don't think it was planned. I think that an argument happened afterwards, whether she said something, like maybe he was acting all arrogant and whatever. And like I said, or maybe she said something that he didn't like. And, because he's already in a state of, I'm sure, depression. I mean, he's got ankle bracelets on, and, his world to me is pretty much probably crumbling. Um, and he's probably irritated very fast, I'm sure. You know how people get when stress is happening and going on. So I think that something was said, an argument happened. I don't think it was planned. I think it was one of those things. And he, of course, like an idiot, goes to the store. I mean, and he has ankle bracelets on because he's so darn smart, and he starts buying all this like cleaning products as if you're going to clean up a crime, you know. Told him he is going to be sorry when he is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so, this guy, this is what it is, right? Right. To me, it's always this way. When you're a good person in life and you try to do good things, and like myself, I don't have anything to hide. I'm one of those people that I'm just a face value person. So because I would never, there's never no one that could ever blackmail me for anything, because I would never allow it, because I'm too open of a person. I share my stuff with the world pretty much. You guys don't know everything about me, because I would be a fool if you knew everything about me. But for the most part, I'm pretty open. I'm just a face value type of person. If people don't like that, too bad. So sad. I would rather be this way, but this is gained from experiences of abuse and stuff like that has made me the stronger person that I am today, instead of the more passive one that let people walk all over me. So, on here, I can seem a little bit stronger than I am in real life. I mean, I am very feisty when it comes to truths and morals and stuff like that. And my morals doesn't mean that it's your morals. And I had this conversation the other day with, in a sense, with someone, don't place your morals on me, because nobody has a right to. My morals are how I dictate them. And I like the person that I am. And even though if I screw up sometimes, or maybe I don't do things right, of course, I'll apologize if I know that I'm in the wrong, or if I said something to hurt someone, that was unintentional. But I am very feisty sometimes on here, because people are always trying to tell, kind of like say things that are ignorant or rude. I have no patience for that. Treat people how you want to be treated back. And if you don't, get out of this live right now, unsubscribe, go away, shoo, I don't need you. If I was a channel that wanted to kiss your butt and sit there and be like, hey, I love you all, what a great friendship, I would feel fake doing stuff like that, because it's not who I am. So I just like to stay true to who I am. Our channel tries to put out the facts as best as we know them, but we don't really call things factual unless they are factual. Other than that, everything is just theories, speculation, thoughts, and whatever. But there's always those people that always want to keep telling you how you should run your channel, what you should do, that you're boring, you should brush your hair, you should whatever, right? Have a cup of you know what I'm saying. And Lori Daybell Lori Daybell. I was watching that case, Lori Daybell, and honestly, that was too whack job of a case. I actually so I'm sorry a minute. So I was when the Lori Daybell case. Now this was already going on prior to me. I happened to watch Donna Serafina. I was listening to her because I'm into psychics and all that stuff as well. Like I'm a very free spirit that way. I believe I think it's better to believe in something than to believe in nothing. And so I'd rather have an open mind than a closed mind about things. And that goes with anything. And then you can choose to believe it or not believe it or this or that doesn't really matter. But I'm that person that chooses to have a very open mind pretty much about anything. So I was listening to Donna Serafina. And, this was, okay, I think it was September when the charges were brought, somewhere around there. I can't even remember what year now. Um, and I was listening to her a few months prior to that. And so I'm listening to her, and she's saying a bunch of stuff, like garbage bag and fire pit and different things. And I'm like, oh, okay, okay. And then when there was an arrest made, and they said a bunch of stuff that we came to know, I was like, whoa, I remember this chick I was listening to, Donna Serafina. And I was like, my goodness, she was quite on par. Because, a psychic's never 100%, but I mean, when someone hits the nail on the head many, many times, and for me, I remembered watching her and going, like, whoa, lady, you got a bit of this, quite a bit of this information correct. And now, I believe Donna Serafina has a daughter that had passed as well, and that's kind of where her life-changing moments happened on a spiritual path. So prayers for her for that, and her journey. But yeah, so I started paying attention to the case, and it just turned into a wackadoodle. It was like I felt like I was literally watching a movie with these Looney Tunes, starring all these Looney Tune people, and it just seems so absurd. Okay, say so I don't know obviously if you guys are aware of this, but because you guys are from the United States and I'm from Canada, you know, one of the things that you guys, or at least a lot of people, talk about, is about that a zombie apocalypse is going to happen. I mean, I've seen documentaries where people are talking about it, how they have shelters over there. That a lot of you guys are preparing for some sort of zombie apocalypse, and a lot of people believe in that stuff. Seems far fetched to me, but whatever, each to their own. So that's kind of something that we always hear about the States, is about the whole zombie apocalypse thing. So as I am following this case, I'm like, these people are truly nutsoid. Like, they're literally taking out their children for, this whole zombie demon, blah, 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 church going, whatever. Like, what? Seriously, you people? And it just feels like I had to stop watching it because it was so cuckoo to me. I'd never, that's probably the first time I experienced such a very absurd case that was that twisted. It's one thing to Idaho 4. Idaho 4 is twisted, but it's not a twisted, and not like something like that hasn't happened before somewhere else, you know. But the Daybell case was just, it was like watching Looney Tunes, and you're just listening to this going, what? Like, because Lori Daybell seems like a very, prior to all this, seemed like a very spiritual, kind of loving mom person. So wherever her mindset changed along the way, um, yeah, it's like gone. And it's like a Wacko Jacko came out in a sense. And I'm not referring to Michael Jackson when I say that, because I like Michael Jackson. But I guess that was the term that was used. Anyways, is that what happens, Austin? You guys dream about your jobs? if you guys have probably never seen this movie, but this was one of my favorite movies. It was called The Comet, and a comet basically landed unless you were in like some sort of metal, like a shed or something like that. It was you turned into this zombie. And I remember the song "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" by Cyndi Lauper, and basically, you know, there was it was like you could go shopping and just whatever because a comet happened and nobody's in the malls. There's cars everywhere, but then there's of course the zombies. And so sometimes, and kind of like when the C word happened a couple of years ago, when I would go to work, because I would still go to work, because I offered to work for free just to help out. But when I would go to work just to get out of the apartment, it was just a 2-minute walk, right, to work. So I would literally feel whenever the world is quiet around me, I feel like always the movie from the comment to be like, nice. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, people. It was kind of nice when I went to work, and I'm like, it felt like the world just had died, and it was like, sweet. I don't have to really do anything, and I don't like hecticness. I like calmness. I like serene. I like stuff like that. So too many people around bug me in a sense. Meaning, it's not that it bugs me; I can handle it, but I just prefer to be away. I don't. Vancouver is the second, largest city in Canada, so people are just all around you all the time. They build places like freaking, Legos. Brr, brr, brr. How many apartments can we build in this small spot and raise it high and stack them on top of each other? So to try to have space anymore and stuff like that, no. Everything is just about money, 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 money. Sonny, you were an excellent employee. Thank you very much. But anyways, okay. So just you guys talk amongst yourselves for just a second. I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to go grab myself a drink before I get started, and we'll talk about Brian Kohberger and the theory. So if there's anything you guys want to say about Brian Kohberger and the case for the Idaho4 in the chat, do that while I'm just away for a second, okay? All right, you guys take care of each other. Okay. You guys, I see you guys are busy typing to each other, not on there. um, Let me bring up this for a second here. Present share screen. Okay. So, ha- how many people in here actually follow the Idaho case? Because obviously it's a very big case and it swept through, of course, the nation. I mean, I heard about it when it came out. Uh, For all those people that jumped on the Idaho case, congratulations. Your guys' numbers went up at least 10 to 20K of subscribers when it happened. And it's so true. So for those channels that did that because this case is so big, right? It's kind of, there's monumental cases, and all of which I have followed, which was a Kylie Rodney one, um, and as well as the Gabby Petito, as well as Summer Wells. And the Suzanne Morphew case was my original one that I was looking at. So those have been really big cases that have stuck out. I'm not sure if anyone can think of anything else really, but those are the ones that stick out in my head as I'm talking, and of course, very sad. Okay, Brian Kohberger. Yeah, you guys follow it? Yeah. Again, it's a case. I mean, a base girl, yeah, Delphi. You know, it's one of those things. I know. I know. Like, so originally, my subscribers were Suzanne Morphew, and I was not monetized. I had 2,000 something subscribers, but why let YouTube, keep ad money that I could be earning? Why not, right? It would be stupid if anyone didn't monetize when they hit a K, to be honest, if I look back. But at that time, I wasn't even thinking about it, didn't even really know about it, whatever. Little smarter and wiser for that now. But anyways, so Suzanne Morphew was the first case. And then I felt like Suzanne Morphew's case was okay, and I needed a break. So the Suzanne Morphew case is that one case because it was my first one in a sense. Delphi was the first one I seen, but I felt like Delphi was kind of like a wacky case because they had two different photographs and people didn't know which end of the stick was up or down, it seemed like. And I was like, okay, I'll just keep an eye on this case. And then the Suzanne Morphew case happened. So the subscribers were all from there. And then I went to Delphi. And so most of the space that we have for subscribers is Delphi. Now, Delphi is and will always be a baby, to us, because, for over 2 and something years now, it's been Delphi focused. But I also understand that it gets exhausting. Like the amount of research and work, that I did personally or that other creators do. Being a creator, trying to do lives, create videos, social media stuff, it's a lot of work. And then you're trying to do research as well. And I don't really watch a lot of other people's channels too much. So usually a lot of times when I'm talking, it's maybe perhaps something in a news clip, made me think of something. But usually it's just because was too busy searching or looking at pictures. But so yeah, so I kind of stay a little bit closed off from other channels in a lot of ways. I've been watching a little bit more now, but I can't last more than 10 or 15 minutes, watching somebody sing. It's very rare, to be honest with you. I want to say I get bored very fast, but I do. It's like, okay, and moving on, because I'm too busy thinking about all the work that I want to do. And so that's why I'm like, well, instead of watching this for like 30 minutes, I could actually be doing something more productive for myself. On there. Thank you, Base Girl. I take like when it comes to people, and even if was so wrong about who that bridge guy was, again, not the person that say maybe murdered, but just whatever. It's still very uncanny for me. I'm still wanting to see the truth come out of this. I want to know why Garrett Kurtz said the things he did. I want to know why Chris Mathis said those things. I want to know why Nick Edwards talked about Jason Palladino. I want to know about the crypto note. There's a lot more to me to this story than meets the eye. And because we're left with, who the hell is Richard Allen? Like, where do you fit in, dude? Like, get out of here. Out of everyone, this Mr. Little Whittle Waddle there, pops out of the woodwork. So, it's probably due to, the CP word, and so there's going to be, but I need to know those things because I wasn't trying to make things up. I worked very, very hard and I'm proud of my work that I did, but I learned my lesson about calling someone a bridge guy when I literally thought, like, you know what? I would never say this unless I knew for a fact or felt for a fact I was right on this. And I still feel it's uncanny how similar they look in markings and different things. I'm just like, how I literally thought I had this down pat pretty much. And that will teach me. Like, it's not like I had an ego about it. I just thought that I did so much work And I wasn't taking it for a joke. I was taking it very seriously that, hey, if they're trying to solve this or whatever, I'm not here to do lives to, just have lives to regurgitate the same stuff over and over and ride it. A lot of channels ride it, but that's up to them if they want to ride it or not. And I'm not a rider of things, but but we're still here to bring the news. And if a story's big, then it's big, and but the thing is that I'm not playing to YouTube or to the audience just to try to constantly get subscribers and what I deem is more of a different way. Okay, I guess I'll say, some people put these titles, or I don't know, but what I do see is people are easily swayed. That I do know. It's amazing how people are like ants that go, brrr, kind of like when Daniel Pearson came out, hey, bass girl, brrr. It's like everyone's going, brrr, and it's like you're watching this trail of ants follow each other. And then Delphi just had so many POIs to it. I miss the potato with you do, Joey? Do you miss the potato? Maybe I'll bring it out for you again. You have done that. Well, thank you again. Did you see the article that Brian allegedly sent one of the girls? Yes, we did that actually. Austin, where were you for that live yesterday when we talked about that, huh? What were you doing? You weren't paying attention to the live, or you? Because I thought you were in that live. So that's what we're going to talk about. Sunny, I heard about Suzanne Bright from your channel. Yeah, the Suzanne Morphew. Very sad case. Still in my heart, obviously. Beautiful mother. People, it's not rocket science, right? Like the father disappears. Just Brian Walsh is a pure example of that. Like, dude, you were as guilty as whatever, but of course you're not until you're in a court of law that proves it to you. Same thing with Barry Morphew. You're a hunk of what, but and you will pay for your crimes, and you just hope that justice takes its course properly. And same with Delphi. You just want the victims to have their justification. And that's the only thing I want for Delphi, is that I want Abby and Libby to have that right, to have the justice that they deserve for the pieces of that took their lives. Or Brian Walsh, I want him to pay for his wife. And now these poor 3 children are in CPS custody. Imagine your life changing just like that. That's the part that always sticks out the most, is that 1 minute you're this. And that's why it's very important. Kind of like a little video that I just did that barely anybody watched yet, but it was the one where Gracie Gonzalez reposted Autumn Gonzalez saying, it always never fails that someone says, it makes you remember to hug a little tighter, to do this. Really? Because I knew that from when I was a kid, that those things meant a lot, that today could be your last. So that's why I'm a YOLO type of person, because today could be my last. It could be your last. You don't know it. So why live it miserable and angry and make everything about money and stuff like that when you can enjoy your life properly? Push that stuff to the side. Life is going to work out no matter what. Things are going to go like a roller coaster no matter what. That stuff's always going to be there. So why work yourself up over the small things? So even if people think I get worked up on here, I literally don't care. I literally, what seems to people, if I'm angry or something like that, sometimes at these trolls, I literally truly don't care. I literally sit there and internally laugh about it because it's such a joke to me. People try to show me posts sometimes of people dissing me, Sunny, money, justice, this justice, whatever. And I just internally laugh because it's just bottom feeders and losers that are trying to take away from caring, kind people. And that's what I like to think that this channel is that we care a lot. I'm feisty for sure when it comes to caring. That's where my care level comes from. Morning, Joe. How are you? Joe, how did your live go on the 14th? How did that go for you? Live your best life now. Yeah. So if anyone needs reminders about that, I don't mean to preach, but I always knew the importance about living your life and loving your family and caring about your family and what the priorities are. I always knew those things, and it's just a matter of most people do, but a lot of people sometimes have them out of order. And then when something tragic happens, they would have, could have, should have. No, well, you didn't, okay? Because you were too busy letting life pass you by. You were too busy putting other people in front of your family or your wife or your husband and that stuff like that. And that's where everyone's accountable for their own stuff. So it's either the importance of life and what the benefits are, because the happier you are, the nicer you are to people. The more miserable you are, it's because your life is miserable with you. That's how I think of trolls and people that are angry. That means that you must have a miserable life, and then they'll deny it. They'll of course deny it, but you know what? It's true. If your life was happy, you wouldn't feel the need to put down other people. You wouldn't feel the need to always sit there and be so judgmental and stuff like that. I'm just like, you do you, boo. I'll do me, you do you. How about them apples? I don't need anyone to preach to me at 53 years old how I'm supposed to be. I know I'm a good person, kind-hearted, help people out. So what do I need help with? Does somebody want to come brush my hair for me, apparently? You're the best. Thank you. Yeah, I hope it was a good live. Okay, let's get into Brian Kohberger and theory. So I'm thinking about this yesterday, and it's because of those, no, I shouldn't say because of, but kind of, because of those, that article, of course, that was talking about the Instagrams. Okay. So we had already showed that there was a connection to the Instagram with Zaina, with Kaylee, and with Zaina, Kaylee, and Madison. Yes, because Dylan and Bethany, I think they were newer to the house. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So my thing was this. I kept thinking about this because the article said, do I still have that article? The article said, I think Adam had sent it to me, but let me just take a look. Ask. Okay, I think this is it, right? No, no, that's not it. That's not it. Go away, JB. Even though I love you, dude. Okay, where's that article? Oh, right here. Okay, so let me just bring this up quickly, just to have that. So stop screen, present, Chrome. Okay. So this is the article here. Accused Idaho killer Brian Kohberger repeatedly messaged one of the victims on Instagram, sources said. Okay, so I'll just read the first little part again. 2 weeks before the slayings of the four University of Idaho students last November, the man now accused of killing them sent a series of messages to one of the victims on Instagram. And an investigator familiar with the case tells People. In late October, an account that authorities believe belonged to Brian Kohberger sent a greeting to one of the female victims, the source says. When he didn't get a reply, he sent several more messages to her. He slid into one of the DMs several times, but she didn't respond, the source tells People. Basically, it was just him saying, hey, how are you? Okay, so coming back to you guys. Okay. Oh, you're going to pay attention this time? Okay, well, maybe I'm not going to. How about them apples? I'm just going to leave you hanging now. No, just kidding. Okay, so my thing is this. He's saying October. Now, people that would go to Instagram and that now are going to find a bunch of, fake Brian Kohberger accounts. And 1 second. Why is my live stream showing that? 1 second. It's like my live stream. Hold on, let me just hit refresh on that. Boom, boom. I just want to see if it gets up to date where it should be. Yeah, there we go. Okay. It was showing the case or whatever. Or the earlier thing with Brian Walsh there. Okay. So At the end of October. So we know November 13th, of course, was the day that this sad event happened. Sorry, I don't want to leave it like that. Let's see here. We'll just leave it at that picture right there. Okay, so we know quite a few things from the affidavit. My thoughts are this. Um, I think that the girls possibly did know who Brian Kohberger was. I think. So let's go to the beginning a little bit. So Brian moves out in June to, Idaho there, to Pullman area. On the same day that he was over in that area, meaning where the King Road was, he also gets pulled over. We know that he went 12, 13 times or possibly more. Now, reception can be bad and whatever, but at some point your phone's going to ping. Now, we also know that Steve Salvez said that their Wi-Fi was touching, which is like being connected. So think about this. I actually do think that, contrary to what other people might not, is that on that drunk turkey show, that lady that had called in that had said that her daughter, knew of the 1122 place as being, a place that sold drugs. Now, I don't want to sit here and say that 1122 did, but in the area, perhaps one of those homes. I believe that I'm starting to think that when Brian Kohberger did those 12 and 13 trips, that those were literally drug runs, to be honest with you. I think that he actually knew, and that's why he added them to Instagram, because it doesn't make sense otherwise, really. Because if the messages started coming in October, but yet he was in the area on the the 21st, I think it was, then, and we know that he was an addict. And so I'm thinking that he still was an addict, because thinking about how my niece works, sometimes she's clean, sometimes she's not, when life gets whatever. So I actually think that he was going down to that area, and he typically did it around nighttime, the same time or whatever, that it was actually drug runs, to be honest with you. And that he did actually know them, and that's why they got added to Instagram, is perhaps maybe because he did know them. Whether or not they knew him that well to add him to their Instagrams or not, who knows. But as for Brian himself, that makes sense. His Wi-Fi touching, connecting to that home or whatever or that area, whatever, would make sense, because he's been there before, because he's going to pick up his drugs, and then he knows of the people in that home, knows that there's 5 days. Now, on this one, work with me here, because I still believe that perhaps, and this is just theory, remember, just trying to get you guys to think about if you guys think this is plausible or not, because it does make sense to me when I think about the messaging later on. So he probably started messaging her. She probably ignored him. He's already a freaking loony bin here, meaning he already has psychopathy or sociopathy tendencies. I'm still thinking more psychopathy, but based on that viral virtual snow thing or whatever. But whatever. So to me, he's in the criminology. Now, also what that lady had said is that the reason why he applied for being a police officer as well is because that's part of what you need to do in the criminology. You have to have a year as a police officer as well as the teacher's assistant. I think if I'm going to be honest with you, as things are starting to make sense in here, and things are a little bit of tidbits, is trying to put the puzzle together. So I'm going to believe that it's not actually because of stalking. because it doesn't make sense. He's messaging her at the end of October. Okay, let's just say it's Kaylee. Okay, I'm still gonna believe it's Kaylee. Um, so again, my theory, it's Kaylee. But at the time, he's really going there to do a drug run, and then during that time, he gets to know the girls. What? So I don't want to say 1122 is like that lady said, like her daughter said. I don't want to go there with that. I want to say that area, that regardless that area, that's why he was in that area, and that's how he probably got to know the girls. And of course, Kaylee is beautiful, gorgeous. A lot of them are that are in that house, but Kaylee and Jack were no longer together and stuff like that. But so thinking about who Brian is prior to this event happening, who he was as a person, obviously on the virtual snow. And, I was going to pull it up because I'm not exactly sure where it is now. Let me just see if I have it in here still. I think this, oh, yes. Good. Okay. Let me bring that up. Stop screen, present, bring up window, this right here. And let me come back here, take this off the screen, and then make this a little bit bigger. Okay, guys? Okay, so remember, this is from that virtual snow back in 2011. It would have been approximately, I think it was 16 years old. Okay, so again, I always feel as if I'm not there, completely depersonalized. Mentally, I experience fog, lack of comprehension at some times. So when somebody says fog, it's kind of like when my brain gets foggy, somewhat because of diabetes, and you feel like it's almost like you feel like you're a zombie, to be honest with you. When my head's not right, because if my sugar levels are too high, and that's to me what I feel like the fog means, when you're just kind of, it's like you're looking through, but your head just feels out of whack. But anyways, lack of comprehension at some times, feels like my life is like a movie, depersonalization, depression, no interest in activity, constant thoughts of suicide, crazy thoughts, delusions of grandeur, anxiety, poor self-esteem, poor social skills, no emotion. I feel like nothing has a point to it. When I get home, to my family, this is when VS did. I felt no emotion, and along with depersonalization, I can say, and with little remorse, everyone hates me pretty much because I'm an a-hole. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you guys think he's a sociopath or a psychopath? Just to ask you guys. And don't forget tonight, Martha will be on, and that will be with the audio, the Idaho audio that everyone was swirling around the internet, including us. That was said that it was from the Idaho house and the 1112 house. So she will be on tonight as well. So don't forget about that. Make sure you bring yourself and your friends and your pets and whoever else you want to bring, your gerbils, snakes, whatever. I don't care. Just make sure that they hit that like button. So, and if anyone's watching right now, could you guys hit that like button? That would be great. It's for the algorithm. It's not. I'm not even kidding. It's how your videos and that are deemed. Either you make it into the suggested or this or that, or you don't type of thing. Some people don't need it because they have so many followers that they're already suggested. Detective Juan. Hi, Detective Juan. Right. Right. Okay. Well, Shelly, you can't just say that. You got to at least say why you don't think it makes sense. Oh, you do think. Oh, I thought you said you don't think. Okay. I thought I read that. I don't know why. I read that as I don't think your theory makes sense. And I'm like, why? Why not? Why not? Right. So I think that regardless, and I get it, because I think of my son when my son was 16 years old. And I think that, I think he would probably have checked Mark off. Not a lot, but quite a few of these traits, at that time. Anxiety, depression. I don't know about crazy thoughts because somebody would actually have to speak to you and talk to you about it. But I know that my son struggles with, he said, I mean, at least he accused me of blaming me for that. It was my fault why he struggles with social, or it could have been the ex putting that in his ear. One of the two things happened. But I will say that I was more of a smotherer than a mother, meaning it was my job to protect my child, and due to my own circumstances, it was from what happened to me and my sisters and brother when we were younger. It was my job to protect, and I would rather be known that I protected my child. But in saying that, my son, even my brother-in-law, okay? I mean, we got him to come over to Canada, and we got him, he works with my husband at his job. He's 22. My brother-in-law is, my husband's 32. And so there's a 10-year difference there. So my husband is a extremely hard worker. Good morning, JD. My husband is a very hard worker in that. And Ryan likes to spend his time. And prior to him coming out, he was a hermit in his bedroom. And the longer you spend time in your bedroom, just like my son did as well, the longer you spend time in your room, the more depression you're going to go into, the anxiety is building up because now you don't want to deal with the public too much. And you get used to just dealing with people and gaming and stuff like that. And so I start seeing a lot of issues with these younger generations that are spending so much time in their rooms on the computers. Their parents are actually allowing it all the time. I know I did. So I'm no saint on that, because my son said he wanted to stay in his room and play a game. I said, sure, whatever you would like to do. Because I like the fact that he was home, which means he was safe. That's how it felt to me. But like I said, then people start getting these anxiety issues. And this is a different world than what I grew up in. You were not allowed. Well, first of all, the computers and that weren't around, but you were told to go outside and play. You were told to do laundry and chores and all these things. You basically had to, earn your keep. And that's how you made your allowance. Whereas, say, some homes are a little bit different, but nowadays it's a whole different ball of wax. The technology is there. People are lazier. Dating has turned into something that I did a long time ago because of my sister's party line, right? People have turned in, right? Dating is done pretty much online. Everything is pretty much done online for people. And pretty much everyone, spends a lot of time of their life on the computers. And it's just an easy, lazy way of doing things. But that's just the way of how the world is gone. So it's not, as each parent, it's up to us to, of course, take charge of our children and how much computer time and do your best. But the thing is, you can't protect them from everything. It's not going to happen. You do your best as a parent, and you try to do everything the best that you can. But that's not going to stop kids from sneaking and lying and hiding things from you. Everyone thinks that their children are perfect, or a lot of people do, that their kid would never do this, never do that. Or it's a bunch of bullcocky, right? I mean, just like the people in that in the 1122 and those other ones. That doesn't mean that they're perfect. They did not deserve to whatever, but you don't know what it's in somebody else's closet. You don't know what somebody else was doing. It's kind of like Judge Fouts. You take Judge Fouts, well, he's a judge. Most people are going to think that a judge is a good, caring, kind-hearted person, not some, CP type of, SA, lying piece of shit. And so then you get fooled and tricked that you believe that somebody is good from the outside just because on appearance, when really you never know what's in somebody else's closet. I mean, my closet's pretty much open. In fact, it truly is right now. But the thing is that you never know what somebody else was doing. But the bottom line is, it's just really about, did anyone, whether it's the, Delphi, whether it's other cases, whether it's Idaho, did those people deserve to die? And the answer obviously is no, they did not, because that's just beyond ridiculous. But so let me just quickly see. there was always a lot of people at that house. Any one of them, right? I mean, we seen it on the video footage, right? Could have been dealing. Exactly. Doesn't mean it was actually anyone. Absolutely. Exactly what I'm trying to say on that. I didn't have an internet or computer until when I went to college when I was 18. I got kicked out to play outside all the time, darn time, right, Chris? And I was stuck on Mario. Oh yeah, I remember my Mario days absolutely. Do you remember even Donkey Kong? Love Donkey Kong too. But anyways, so I think when I think about who the person, um, when I think about who the person that Brian is, I think he was a very unstable um, person. Obviously, I think that he had these issues up here. And those are the things that sometimes SKs are made out of. I absolutely believe myself that if he got away with Idaho, even though he's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, blah, 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 blah. Okay. That he would probably have done it again. Why? Because I think that kind of like that perfect storm happened, that it was already in him to do this. I would bet you any money that that guy has Ted Bundy books, that he has BTK books, whatever. I bet you any money as a criminologist, and you think about Ted Bundy and becoming a lawyer. Well, to go to school to be a lawyer, but then he dropped out because that's when he went on his mass spree there. I think still that a lot of it has to do, like, I wouldn't doubt that he has those books and probably reads them, but that would kind of pull back from perhaps picking it because it was a university like BTK did. I believe that Kaylee is the one that took the brunt, and that's the one that probably had to be identified more so. I believe that that will probably come to fruition. But yeah, so I think it's more the fact that he was actually driving there again to because I believe he was doing drugs, and I believe that he was picking them up, and that's why he was in the area. And of course, he wouldn't have known Kaylee in that prior. That's what makes logical sense, because that to me shows a pattern of, okay, he was in the area June 21st. So if the messages start in October, why wouldn't they have started sooner? Like, how do you just get to say move there and then you're already say stalking the place? It doesn't make sense to me in my head. So I don't know if it makes sense to you guys, but it does make sense that if he actually knew that someone that sold drugs and people knew that that area was where drugs were sold, that's why he was actually had gone there. But the thing is that Ali's not going to tell us that, right? They're not going to give you that information, even if it is true. They are not going to, just like they didn't update on the 2015 the launch show when they knew it. They still had us all looking for 2011 to 2013, even though they already knew that it was a 2015. Because again, they're not going to sit there. They don't care about us. They only want information from people that know or have anything. And when they need us, they'll use us, right? Like yesterday's garbage in a sense. But that's the way the world works, right? They need us. So they know that the internet is a valuable source. And so, hey, you know what? We need you guys to stop that here. We're just gonna, oh, hey Jeff, how are you? Today it seems we can identify as anything we want. Surely Brian can identify as BTK or Bundy. Absolutely. I like I said, I think that Brian, myself, it was going to happen at some point. And of course, it came out there. So he probably felt the rejection because he goes to that area, probably knew who Kaylee was, saw this beautiful chick. This beautiful chick's ignoring him. And if you're unstable here and this person's ignoring you, or you're like, you kind of get pissed off in your head, like, what? You think you're so fucking good, too good for me? And da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, I'll show you, B, because that would be how unstable people think. And so that's why this all kind of would make sense, because I think that it would have been done at some point regardless, because I still think that because his brain here, he probably liked blood, guts, and gore, and all those different things. I mean, frickin' his sister starred in a movie, but I think that he liked that stuff, and that's what propelled him into the whole criminology and wanting to know psychology as well. Just like, but Ted Bundy, right? Has a master's in psychology as well, and it's because sometimes you like to know people, which I do. A lot of us do. A lot of us, like myself, are interested in how minds work like that because you can't comprehend it as a normal person, how someone can do that. Even Brian Walsh, for instance, what up here took you? What made you go that far? That instead of it being an argument, you decided to legitly take your wife off this planet. Well, but of course, he's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess, for the theory part. So June 21st, he's in the area. He gets pulled over, does his 1213, trips and stuff like that, because that's where he's going to buy his drugs. He's unstable here. Again, probably still fits a lot of these things that he's talking about. And, probably has, doesn't really care for women too much because how when you could be like my niece, for instance, okay? My niece is beautiful, Paigey. Okay, I'm speaking. I mean, not to say Haley isn't her shade. I'm talking about Paigey though. So Paigey is a beautiful girl. Okay, absolutely gorgeous. Hold on a second. I'm even 1 second here. Let me pull. Just give me 1 sec, because I'm gonna pull it up for a sec. Actually, to be honest with you, Paigey reminds me of Kaylee somewhat, to be honest with you. Okay, let me come back to the live stream. Window. Page. Okay. So, whoops. Oh my goodness, I hit stop screen like a noob. Sorry, let me do that again. I didn't mean to hit that. I meant to hit this. Okay. So, this is my beautiful niece, Paige. Always a beautiful child, just a little porcelain doll. And that's my mom. You guys can see my mom there. She's passed now. She's sitting there with little Paige when she was younger. And I think Paige has got freckles on her face and the other one there. Anyways, she does the weirdest thing. My niece could have been a beautiful model, an actress. Her dad worked on X-Files. She could have been so much. What does she do? She basically does her drugs. I'm amazed she hasn't actually passed away at this point. She's overdosed quite a few times. She lives the life. She gets better, and then a year or so later, she's back doing. And this trend just keeps happening all the time. And she's in a very toxic relationship with a he/she. So basically, obviously, I'm meaning that it was a girl that has been transforming into a guy. So she likes to be called a he now. And it's a very toxic relationship. So my niece is now 32. When she started doing drugs and becoming emo and whatever, she was about 16. She was getting picked on in school. So this is what I'm saying, is that, looks are in the eyes of the beholder. So as beautiful as she is, she takes, trust me, you go to her Facebook and she'll have a billion pictures of herself, because people like my niece, love you, Paige, people like my niece, they need the admiration of taking selfies of themselves. If you go to anyone's Facebook page and you see a ton of pictures of selfies of themselves, those people have insecurity issues bad. and they need affirmation from other people to make them of value because they don't believe themselves that they're beautiful. So my niece has a beautiful heart. She has a beautiful soul. She has a free spirit like I do. And yet she has no belief in herself. Like, it's like someone that they kind of believe that they're pretty, but they need others to affirm it for them because they truly have low self-esteem issues. And that's Paige. And that's anybody else, to be honest. I'm not here to, be a doctor or whatever, but it's not rocket science either. When people post selfies of themselves all day long, especially when they use, put out and stuff like that. But they have insecurity issues. Everything will always boil down to me to insecurity issues of some sort, and then there's those people that are off balance. I think that someone like Brian Kohberger was already off balance, sliding out of the tube of his mom, to be honest with you. I think about my brother. My brother was a little kleptomaniac from when he was a couple years old. Some people just come out little shits, and some people come out to me evil. And I think that with Brian, that there was just a lot of evil there to begin with, like a lot of whatever wires got crossed here, and I think that he had a hate for females really as time went on. He's chunky, but yet he got that grandeur, that fake mask of I can have any girl I want. Yeah, a little bit. My twin sister, she looks like she looks like her dad from the side, and she looks a lot like her mom, but actually my nephew looks identical to my twin sister. But anyways, so that's how I really see Brian, is that he wasn't an ugly dude, but his low self-esteem and his inner demons with himself, right? But yet saying that I can have anyone I want. And sometimes people just say that just joking around. Who knows? What Jeff say? When you get older, I think it's easier to be thankful for the looks or the body that you have been blessed with. Could be. I'm not. I want to go back to 26 when I had a rocking body. Anyways. But now it's like, now it's just covered with, I'm just protecting it with these other layers now. I try every month to grow another chin just so I can, just kidding. I can joke with myself. You know why? Because I'm okay with who I am. That's the difference between me and my twin or me and Paige. I can literally joke about, my fat and stuff like that because who cares? Whoever loves me, like my husband, who's 32 from England with an accent and gorgeous to me. Okay. Meaning people will come around you and stay around you because they love you and care about you. And they'll like you exactly for who you are. Some of these people, like my niece or my twin, don't understand that, to be honest with you. So if you are one of those people that is even watching this right now, when people say to love yourself, they mean it. So unless you got some loose screws up top there and you're miswired anyway, well, then I can't help you. But for those people that are kind of normal but still have issues, just be thankful for who you are as a person, because people will come into your life and stay in your life, and the little weenies, whatever, will get out because those ones don't deserve to be in there, because they're going to try to hurt you. They're going to try to backstab you. They're going to try to bring you down. That's why I have a hard time with the trolls, and I'll tell people off because get out of here. I don't want anything to do with you. Get out of my space. You are a negative, zap of energy. Get the heck out, So that's the feisty I'm fight for, is don't sit there and come into this live, be disrespectful, go build your own channel and, jerk off all you want type of thing. I do not care what you do, but don't come in here and try to troll, when we're just trying to get along to, we all know you go by Sunny because the sun is right. That's exactly it. The sun is hot, right? Or it's my nickname off of the name Sonia, one of the two. So yeah, that's what I mean. I can do that because I'm comfortable though, Joe, with who I am. Like I said, my husband loves me for me. I love my husband for his flaws and who he is. So That's how I know I don't really care. I would never want to be with someone who tries to, well, no, meaning after I've, matured and, knew exactly what I wanted instead of being abused and stuff like that. I always knew my own value of who I was as a person. And that's the something. That's why, again, no one can take that away from me. Nobody can sit there and try to tell me to be a nicer person or a better person. Everyone can always be better at certain things, sure. But that 90% of me will always be that very loving, caring. And then there's that little part of me that can be like anyone, that can have a bad day, which is rare, to be honest. I don't really have bad days. And I really would never go to work taking a bad day out on somebody. I just don't work that way. But a lot of people do work that way. But I'm very confident in who I am as a person because I like myself. I love myself for who I am. If you walk around this world being a nice, kind, caring person, you know that you help people out. You know that you'll always give somebody the shirt off your back and stuff like that. And you can sit there and say that you're doing stuff like, for instance, what we do here, bring attention to the missing and the murdered. If you could, look at all those qualities about yourself, know that you give a lot of love to your husband, know that you love a lot, care a lot. If I can sit there and say that I do those things because I know that I'm that way, then nobody can take that away from me. Just like nobody can tell me what friends to have or not have. I will decide that. And I only want people to come into my life and stay in my life that actually add value and try to lift me up instead of trying to attack me or bring me down. Who would want that? So that's what I'm saying. Someone might feel like they're a freaking 3 to look at, but if somebody loves you, they'll love you because you're you. They're not loving you because you're pretending to be somebody you're not. Because then you have to go with that web of lies, of pretense, pretending you're this way and that way. Why don't you just be yourself? Just do you. Because that's what person people will like, right? Oh, did you guys get that? Thank you, Joe. Well, you know what, Joe, and I appreciate that. When other people try to take away from that, it makes me laugh. It honestly makes me laugh because I'm one of the biggest caring people. There is like average caring people. This is in my world of notebooks. There is average caring people, and it's not to float my boat, but whatever. You sometimes give credit where credit's due. People, and using my creative side is by far my best qualities. That I love a lot and care a lot, and I'm feisty because of those reasons. And so when people try to diminish that by being negative or try to take away from who I am as a person, like I said, have a cup of go, blank yourself, because you're just not going to do that. No matter what word somebody says, it's not going to impact me. No word on here that somebody says is truly going to impact me. I appreciate it when people say nice things, but I'm not looking for it. But if people notice my kind heart, I appreciate that, because that means that you're not judging me. You're seeing exactly what you're getting. It's just an honest, trustworthy type of person that's not looking to float my own boat, but it's just being transparent. Do you? Well, okay, wait. I want to go back, though. I want to go back to, this is going to turn into a sermon. We got Brian Walsh stuff. We got Sunny sermons. We got Brian Kohberger stuff. You guys got it all. And you got somebody that does somewhat have a good sense of humor. Kind of, sort of. But I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on what I was talking about. Preach it, sister. Yeah. Sometimes I go into my little preachy sermons, especially when I'm by myself. I used to do always my lives by myself as before Adam and Deb had come along and stuff like that. So that's why I can sit here and do a live, no problem. I don't have a problem with cameras. I don't even think about how many people are watching. It'd be nice if there was about 2,000 right now watching, because it means you're impacting. But whatever, right? But I don't think of it like camera and stuff like that. I can just easily talk to people, whether I'm on camera or not on camera. And that's what makes it easy to do this. And I think if I do recall, Jeff, I recall you saying that when you got off the live that your face was smiling. And I can recall you saying that. So I guess it just depends how far you take your own channel and, build it up and stuff like that. But anyways, too, besides that, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody else. My dentist told me once to lift up a chin a little bit. I said, which one? Right. Okay. Shelly, right? My husband says that to me all the time. And the thing is, absolutely acceptable. Why? Because my husband, he never tries to bring me down and he jokes with me all the time. Because when I sit there and go, honey, I got a couple of hairs right here. Can you get them with the tweezers? He'll be like, well, lift up that chin, or lift up one of your chins. Let me, so I can see it, just like, right. But it's not even remotely taken as an insult. My husband's so kind to me and so loving that you take it a different way. So if somebody hears that, they'd say, oh, if my wife ever said that or my husband ever said that. No, my husband absolutely is just an amazing person, treats me so well, would never try to bring me down, never. It's not in him, it's not built in him. So when he jokes around, I mean, the odd time when he's called me the B word, which is odd time. And it's only because I think one time, a couple times I said it to him. I know I remember saying F off or something like that. And he goes, don't tell me to F off. You don't talk to me like that. And I was like, well, I can, and I will. And I just did. And then he's like, you don't do that. So let me put it this way. As my husband's been here in Canada, that F word, that F bomb will come out of his mouth once in a while, but not ever ignorantly. He'll be like, oh, fuck off or whatever. And I'm like, don't you talk to me like that. Because it's almost like my husband's like, no, you talk to me with respect. You don't tell me to F off. If you want to say it, use your words properly. And I'm like, okay, that's going to be a hard one. Because when you're in an abusive relationship, you're so used to that word coming out of your mouth. Fuck off. Fuck off. Oh, it made me laugh. Anyways, hi, True Crime and other stuff. How are you? There's a turkey ham, turkey bologna, turkey pastrami. Oh my God, right? Someone needs to tell the turkey man just to be yourself. Mitch Hedberg. I was like, at first, Jeff, as I was reading that, I thought you were going to say that you're probably at a store and you're literally asking what sandwich that you should get. And turkey. Ooh, turkey ham. Yeah, turkey ham I would have picked. Bologna. Blech, bologna. But anyways, I know that there's like 63 of you in here. So I know that's like well over the moon. But if you guys could hit those likes. And I'm going to get going here in just a little bit because it's already been an hour and a half. And I'm spoiling you guys because remember about these hour lives. Or maybe I'm just liking to talk today. I don't know. But I do have that. We do have our live tonight with Martha on there from the Idaho video that was circulating around. So we'll be talking with her Thursday. Again, Psychic Sleuth is going to be on here as well. Saturday, we're going to have Allie from Unresolved Crimes Uncovered. And then Friday's our regular live. So yeah, a little bit busier for a week, but that's okay. No problem, right? What else have I got to do, really? I mean, I could spend time with the husband, but he's at work. Anyways, so I just want to see what your guys' thoughts were on the fact that this is probably more to do with him driving because of drugs. Do you guys maybe think that that's pretty plausible? Talk to me. Talk to me, baby. If you guys don't talk to me, I'm just going to get off. And I'm just going to go, I don't know, create videos or go back to sleep. Maybe I'll go do laundry. Don't like doing laundry. But, no, I'm I'm glad that you guys come and spend time with me, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it's a two-way street there, right? I mean, we like to do lives to update people, of course, and bring awareness. But by the same token, it's a real treat that coffee's on me. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you so much. I just find it a real blessing myself, truly, that people come in here and that there's a bunch of loyal followers. And even if they maybe are Delphi followers, but still follow or come in because, they're a channel followers. Oh, which reminds me, I'm going to unearth a couple of new hats from the merch site. Or you guys can get a little view if you want. Adam doesn't know yet that I made them. So at the channel, the !4, and it's also in the bio link that has like in the video description is always the bio link, which houses all the different platforms and stuff that we're on. But that's the merchandise site. Okay. 50% proceeds, of course, go to, oh, actually, we're not going anywhere. I have something to show you. Is it here? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I got something to show you. Thank you so much. Hey, Jeff, why isn't the music gone off yet? Hi, Magic. But yeah, so I do appreciate again the loyal people that come in here or the new ones that are coming in here and just learning about the channel. Um, that's the merchandise site again. So 50% of the proceeds from, obviously it's a third party drop, right? I create the design, they have the merchandise and they ship it out to you. So I did create some new hats, and for It's a Crummy Shame and what me and Adam were talking about. It's kind of a personal joke, but like the press, the media. But then I made a SWAT, and then I made a SWAT with pink for the females. They like to have the pink on it. Do I get a discount with my perk level? Yeah, sure. Or an upcharge. I feel like you need an upcharge. I feel like you need, yeah, with your perk level, yeah. They have in the fourth wall, Austin, because I'm torn because they have a Patreon type of setup, right? But yet people know Patreon because I keep saying I'm gonna do that for Patreon, but I can never think of exactly what perks I want to offer with that. Whereas fourth wall does have perks, plus it's the merchandise shop, plus if somebody's a member of it, then they get the discounts and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? Because like the hats are $29.95 for the baseball caps, but then when I think about it, I think of when my son was buying his hats, and they were like 34 and $40 and stuff like that. But the thing is that, so for instance, like that hat's like $29.95. So sue me for making like $8 whatever off you guys. I mean, I created the design, spent all the time making it. So I of course, there's no point in having a merchandise site if you don't make a little bit of something. You don't make a lot because their price is like whatever the heck it is, $20.95 or whatever it was, and it's kind of like, so it's not one of those things where you're going, oh yeah, big score there, But I like to create, and the merchandise site is a fun way of doing that. Joe Johnson, thank you very much. Thank you for the $9.99. Oh, I'm so sorry. I read that as 9,999. Oh, close though. Thanks, Joe. Nah, thank you so much. That's kind of, I guess, your way of saying thank you for what I did as well. So thank you, appreciate it. Huh. And then Shelly there, new member. Where is the music, guys? Where is the music? Is StreamYard glitching? I don't know what's going on. 1 second. Oh, maybe it's off. I don't know. Well, I'll fix it later. So as you can see, Kelsey German is expecting a baby. The best things in life are unexpected. Baby Siebert is expected August of 2023. So congratulations to Kelsey German on a little bundle of joy. You can guarantee if it's a girl, the middle name is going to be Liberty. I like beanies. Can you make it in a beanie? Well, let me put it this way. You can I'll have to see, because these are embroidered. Their hats are literally embroidered, so they are better quality than just the typical thing. I'll have to take a look. But my only thing about that is that somebody can put in a special request, and if I can do it, all I ask is that somebody doesn't make me waste my time asking me to do something, and then I go do it, and then they decide that they don't. What would you like it in? And then they decide, that they're not going to purchase it. That would be, using up my time when I could be doing other things. So if, you know what, I like beanies. If you did, Base Girl, did you want it to say SWAT, press, media, or it's a crime and shame detective? That those are the ones that I have out there. Or did you want something specific? Because I have no problem doing something specific for somebody if it can be done. You can always email. Hey, is it just me, or is I think that the Streamlabs glitch. Give me a second here. No, it's there. Hold on. No, not record. Test widgets. Okay, so
It's a crime and shame super chat. $6. Thank you.
I
This
wonder.
is a test super chat alert for $6.
Okay, why it didn't go off, I have no clue. It's probably Streamlabs glitching again, because it was open. You know, maybe if you donate another, I don't know, $1,000,000, we'll see if it goes off. Maybe it wasn't open. I think maybe it wasn't open. Well, usually if it's not open though, well, maybe I did. I don't know actually. Huh. Okay, well, it doesn't say it says I.A.C.S. It says that. It's a crime and shame, kind of like SWAT, and but it says it like that. Detective. But again, did you go to the site? You know, and if you want it specifically to say it's just that certain things, because most companies have these third drop parties. Sorry, I should be talking on the camera. Because they do embroidery, certain things don't look so good. So there is it's a crime and shame hat out there already. That's like, it's a crime and shame. But go take a look if you haven't. And you can email me at, a crime and shame. And maybe Base Girl, I mean, they only have so many hats, but perhaps send me a picture in an email of what you mean when you say the beanie type. Okay. Do you want, oops. Why did I do that? I wrote email.com like a moron. Is that Callie? Callie, what are you doing here? I don't know who you are. There, say at crimeandshame@gmail.com. Okay. So yeah, so do that. Send me a picture of what it is that you were thinking. I'll see if there's anything similar to that, and then I'll let you know. And of course, like I said, I'll always try to do anything for anyone, if I can do it, and like if it's definitely can be done. Okay. Alrighty then. So hi, Callie girl. I'm gonna get off this live now because we're at 1 hour and 49 minutes, and yeah, wasn't planning on doing this live, but I was like, hello, just whatever. You know, maybe I was just trying to ditch Adam because I know he's at work or something. So other than that, I think that's about it. Was if for for anyone that's in here right now, we'll be live at 6:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern Standard, with Martha again. And that's the Idaho video that went pretty much viral, really, a little bit of it being circulated, that it even made it to the news and stuff like that as well. And again, it would just be more about her. Like I will play her actual one that she put out versus what, say, you guys heard. So yeah, that'll be interesting to talk with her. Now she is Spanish, so peace not silence. A mod, never silent. He'll be in here and he'll be translating for her as well. Just because English is her second language. So okay, guys. So please give a like and a thumbs up and a share if you could. There's 69 people watching right now. What a perfect time. Yeah. Hey JDR, how's it going? Yeah, and that's about it. Great channel you got. Thank you so much. And thank you for the donations and the Shelly for becoming a member. Thanks for the coffee, Jeff, Joe, and Shelly. Thank you guys so much for that. appreciate it. Remember, the links are always in the description of this video for following us on TikTok, going to the merch site, regardless if you don't see it on here. It's called The Fourth Wall in the link there. So yeah, so you guys take it easy. Have a good day, and we'll see you. Whoever comes to the live later, we'll see you later. Okay, guys? Bye. Oh, and congratulations again to Kelsey on her little bundle of joy. Wait. Boy or a girl? What do you think? What do you think Kelsey's going to have? Sunny, you went such you singing the Sunny song? Sunny, thank you for the joy you bring to me. Sunny. What do you guys think? Boy or girl? B or a G? Put B or a G for Kelsey. I'm going to go with girl. Okay. Austin. Come on, anybody else? 61 people in chat. Come on, people. Quit being lazy. Hit the B or the G. You don't even have to hit the whole world. Most people are what? You guys haven't had your coffee yet or something? Come on. Chop. Come on, people. Literally have 3 people. 59 people. Oh, there we go. Boy, girl. So far, the girls have it. Girl. Yeah. I'm getting just the girl vibe. Actually, I called it for somebody recently. I know there's a 50-50 chance, right? But I always, when it's usually somebody's pregnant and they're like, I'm like, do you know what it is? And they're like, no. And I'm like, that's a girl. Just saying. And she had a girl. Yeah, she had a girl. Yeah. But, I mean, it's one or the other. Well, I guess you could call it an it nowadays. Boy, girl, or an it. I don't know. I get a sense from pregnant women. Otherwise, it's 50-50. Yeah. Anyways, I'm feeling the vibes of girl here. I looked at it. I felt pink instead. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? Anyways, thank you guys for answering. I was just curious what you guys thought. But it seems like the girls have it right at this moment. Everyone pick girl. It will make it more enjoyable when it's announced a boy. Right, Austin? Well, you better change your answer then, Austin, to a girl. Okay, you guys have a great night. Take care. We'll see you tonight on tonight's live. Thank you again for joining.